This is Lilith Eeckels, Garden Girl for Twopeasinabucket.com. Welcome to the next installment of 213 in 2013, your weekly Monday video series here at Twopeas. Each week we'll be giving you 4 to 5 creative prompts to help jumpstart your creativity. This week I'm going to show you how I created this layout about my son Robin. Now, let me just walk you through all the supplies I used on my layout. So, first of all, foam dots. I love using these foam dots. They really are really helpful when you want to create layers or just make things pop off the page. These are some stamps from Evilicious. I really love these stamps, the little arrows. I'll also be using some of the new stamps from the Dear Lizzie collection. And I'll be using the hot air balloon. I've also taken out some of the Amy Tangerine stamps. This is also the new collection, and some My Girl stamps. I didn't use the My Girl one. It just didn't fit with the layout. Some embellishments from Dear Lizzie. I've also got some ribbon. I'm really loving the ribbon from both the Amy Tangerine and the Dear Lizzie collections. Some washi tape. I've got a few more stamps here. So these are roller stamps. One is from the new Dear Lizzie collection and the other one is an older Studio Calico stamp. I've got some white embossing powder as well as some embossing ink. I've got some VersaFine black ink. My mist, so I've got some Mr. Huey's and Color Shine from Heidi Swap. I've got 2 photos. One is printed on normal paper, photo paper, and the other one is printed on vellum. I wanted to try something new. And I'll also be using the stitching templates from the Amy Tangerine collection. Now, I usually don't hand stitch on my layouts as it's quite time consuming, but this is really so much fun. I love using them. I've used them quite a lot since I've got them. Some thickers, so one is a thicker from My Girl and the other are letter stickers from Amy Tangerine. Bubble wrap, which I didn't use in the end. Some more embellishments from the Dear Lizzie collection here. And I will also be using part of the daybook from the Dear Lizzie collection as well. Some more Dear Lizzie stickers. I've got little letter stickers here. I've also got some washi strips from Basic Grey, and I mainly used papers from the Dear Lizzie collection, and these are really gorgeous. I love the blues and the bright reds and the pinks and the aquas. They all fit together so well. I'm using white cardstock as a background and some chipboard from Crate. Now here are my 4 prompts for you. First one, print on cardstock or vellum. The second, paint with mists or watercolors. The third, to layer. And the fourth, hand stitch on your layout. So the first thing I did was I took the hot air balloon stamp from the Dear Lizzie collection and stamped it onto some cardstock with some Versamark ink. I added some Zing embossing powder, some white embossing powder on top, and just heat embossed it. So at the moment it's just the white on white, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of the mists and just paint over it. So I first used some of the Mr. Huey's. It's called Mint Tulip and it's a soft green color, and I'm just going to paint over the top part of the page and just dab off all the excess water and paint. Then I added some of the Color Shine, and I did the same at the bottom of the page as well. Now the next step is to start creating the cluster that will be the center part of the layout, and I'm just going to start cutting my papers. The first one is going to be a mat for my photo, and then the other papers I just cut strips and pieces and just layer them one on top of the other, seeing how they look. I don't really measure, I just cut them up and layer them one on top of the other. As you can see, I'll be using quite a lot of pink, but because it's nicely balanced with the aquas and the blues, it's not really a girly layout at all. Now, as you can see, the cluster with the photo is situated more to the right hand side of the layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another cluster, but on the left hand side, and this will help create a flow, and your eye will be naturally guided towards the photo, which takes center stage on the layout. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding the vellum to my layout. So I printed onto some vellum, and this is a really cool way of adding another effect to a layout, as it is transparent. You could also try printing onto cardstock. I've tried that many times, and it's just really a fun way to give a different texture to your photo. Now, I'm quite happy with how this main element looks, and I'm just going to keep on adding little bits and bobs along the way and just testing things and see how they look. Here I'm taking just one part of the daybook from the Dear Lizzie daybook and just adding that. I really love the vellum, and it's so fun because these daybooks have little elements that aren't in the papers or in the collection pack. So what I did next was I took some washi tape, and this one is really wide, and I just took out a piece and put that onto some vellum, and then I punched out a label and added just a little bit of journaling and added that to my embellishments. Okay, so I'm just going to fiddle around a little bit more with the layout, adding bits and bobs and seeing how it looks. I wasn't too keen on leaving the little strip on the left-hand border, and so I decided to replace that with something else, and I cut out a long strip of the blue paper and just made a little banner out of that and added that to the left-hand side. Now my layout is nearly finished. I'm just going to keep on adding embellishments until I find the overall look pleasing and until I'm satisfied. I did add a little banner to the bottom right hand corner because I found it was just a little bit bare. And as you can see, I haven't stuck anything down yet. I really do that at the very end. So once I'm pleased with the overall look of my layout, I'll start adhering all the pieces to the page. So what I usually do is I start with the smaller elements and then work myself over to the larger layers, etc. Normally with these layers, what I do is I just take off the photos and take a really long stapler and just staple all the center layers down. And this has several advantages. First of all, I use a lot less glue. I'm sure my papers won't fall off the layout, and then I'll be able to add other elements along the way if I wish to do so. So at this point I could say my layout is finished, and I just add a title and then put it in an album. But what usually happens is that I'm interrupted and that I have to leave my desk because my kids are getting into trouble, or they're having a fight, or they have to have a meal. And so when I come back, I have a look at my layout, I have a look at my supplies, and I think to myself, well, what can I add? And so here I decided to add some ribbon, add a few stamps, and I also wanted to use the stitching templates from the Amy Tangerine collection. I really, really love this product. I think it's such a wonderful thing to add to scrapbooking. Hand stitching looks so nice and just adds a little bit of extra detail, but sometimes it can be quite time consuming, and these stitching templates really are a time saver. So here I decided just to add a few little cross stitches, and I used the dot from one of the question marks as templates. And all you have to do is poke the holes and then just thread your needle and stitch. Easy peasy. Now the last thing I have to do is just add the title, and I decided to go with the Amy Tangerine stickers from her new collection, and these are really lovely because they come in lots of different colors and they also go really well with the Dear Lizzie collection. I also added a few splatters using a coffee stirrer and added the date with the Studio Calico date stamp. Thank you so much for watching, and here's a reminder of my 4 prompts. Print on cardstock or vellum, paint with mists or watercolors, use layers, and hand stitch. My challenge for you is to use at least 2 of the 4 prompts and to create a layout. Don't forget to upload your creation to the 2-Piece gallery, and you might win a $10 gift voucher to the 2-Piece store. Thank you so much for watching. This was Lilith Eeckels, Garden Girl at twopeasinabucket.com.